Under the elephant. All right. So then the question is, what exactly is going on with the CBE now is what we're being told that it is. What exactly is going on here? Because if we look at the trajectory of things over the last 6 years, at the time that you were speaking of this, when CS at the time, Matiang'i, under the Uhuru Kenyatta administration, when CBC was introduced, before he came in, Amina Mohammed said, you know what, let's test this thing. Let's pilot this thing and see what exactly it is that we're choosing to move from the 844 system. No sooner had she said that, then she was bundled out of office, and then CS Matiang'i came in. We've seen a lot of things go on, and we see now that we have children who are going to grade 10 in January next year who've been the guinea pigs of this. And unfortunately, at every turn where we see that it has been described that the assessments take place, they've suffered at grade 6, going to grade 7. We saw that they selected pathways at the second term, just last term, and that they're going to grade 10, where we don't even know. They tell us that books will be printed sometime this year. We don't know if that's going to happen because, you know, we're running mini elections come November, so we don't know now when books will be printed. And then they're going to go to grade 10, where they will start pathways for which we don't even have enough science teachers if you choose STEM. Humanities, we don't even know what that is. Sports, we're saying that that's maybe sports medicine and those things, if you go into that direction later on in life, that there's certain prerequisites that must be met. That doesn't exist. So what exactly are we doing? Are we experimenting and trying to see what will happen?
Small answer here. The children are going to pathways. How did they determine those pathways? Which method or tool did they use? Because you can't just go to a pathway unless, if you don't have a tool or a method, then you're guessing. And the results of guesswork, you've seen the upheavals. But then I'll tell you a small solution. What could possibly have done? Dennis, listen to this. One day I was in Eldoret. We had just launched one biometric machine which was donated from my headquarters in the US.
What is that machine?
It's the one which determines the energy sequence, and hence we use it to determine the human potential, and possibly we can use it to forecast your careers. Okay? But that's for another day.
Just a second.
Yeah.
So the machine does what again?
Okay.
I think I've heard of it. I just wanted to be sure.
Okay.
It's the same thing I'm thinking.
All right. I don't know whether I need to go to all that science, but just for a quick summary, where what it does is a 3D, 4D optical sensing technology.
Okay.
I take you a picture, but using not a normal camera, the one which determines what we call your body quantum point, which means the strong energy, like the base stations, like the main organs. Then I'm able to tell whether you are left brain or right brain, thin membrane, upper brain, lower brain. Each corresponding unit of your forehead here, divided into four, represents careers. Like the left upper represents science. The right upper we call the human volcanic brain, the brain of the non-conformed people, the artist, the musician. People don't follow rules. The right lower is the manual dexterity brain, the brain of physical strength. And the lower left...
That's why you have boxers,
Yes. So all I need to know about a human, which section of the brain, because, you know, what is human? Human is only signal communication. Food is only to enhance it, okay? If something occurred, say, on your toe, where do signals quickly go? If I see quick signals, always refer to the right upper side of your brain. I know you are volcanic. I know your left brain. If it continues to go to left upper and the rest. The only question is, how do I see those signals? That's where that technology comes. Because it takes a picture of you and then determine the quadrant areas, and where signals pass quickly, it paints for me green. Where it is ish, that means weak, it paints yellow. And where the energy blockages paints red, so that it gives me an image of you like this. And when I see the greens, it propagated the right upper side. I say this is more of real, like it to be a scientist. So you can see how easy it is for me to determine and extrapolate. That means focus careers. Is that just that simple?
So if someone is if somebody is upper left,
yeah.
So that
that's
somebody
science.
is arts,
Science.
No, upper right, sorry.
Upper right, yeah, volcanic, yeah.
That's arts,
Art,
musician.
museums, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But then we do another process called validation of suffering to determine the specializations.
So that's how then you end up creating a path.
A path, yes. So I'm giving you one tool and method.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have a tool and method. They're guessing. So I was giving the story of Elridge. So I walked in here. A mother arrives with a child. And there's a good reason I'm giving this story. That the child hardly eats. And obviously the child is slim. She's gone to hospital. The doctors say the child has attitude problem. Just force him to eat. He'll finally come through. So I also buy the idea of the doctors, because doctors really know a lot. So the mother gets disappointed. So the following day, I go to the talent clinic where we established the machine. Mother shows up with the child again. Say, just test. So I decide to test. Then I see the green gangali, that means the signals strongly to the tongue. I think I made a mistake. I do it again. I reach out to Hans Nebert, my friend and colleague in Ulm in Germany, who is the expert in this area. We do it again. 4 times, same result. You know what we got it? This child, during prolonged labor, and this is where all these things come, like autism, you know what they mean? Signal terminations. This is now, people need to understand the science behind things. So when signal terminated, that's when child, you give birth, prolonged labor, if you are having food cravings, they have impact on change of signal paths, On this one, the termination went heavy on the tongue, creating high-value taste buds. Today, the child is a wine, coffee taster. Now, Dennis, tell me something. Which curriculum or syllabus in Kenya is for this one? Now, you want to see the problem with the Kenyan learning system. Now, start there. Which path would this one be taken to with a curriculum? Which one?
But is wait, so there are 2 things here. So one, you go through, because earlier you were talking about learning and education?
No, learning diagnosis.
Learning diagnosis?
Yeah.
No, there's something initially you'd said. I think
there's a difference between learning and education. There's a thin line between the two.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the assumption then is you go to school, like we've all gone to school.
All of us.
I've done all sciences.
Yeah.
I did physics, I did biology, I did chemistry, I did math, I did everything. But look, I ended up being a journalist.
Yep.
So the idea then, here is you go through formal education. That it integrates you into a space where you acquire knowledge on different subjects.
Yes.
So eventually, whichever one you choose, because at around I think it was in Form 2, thereabout. That's where you're told, okay, now, what exactly do you want to do with your life?
Yeah.
So you have like 3 or 4 options, for example.
Yeah.
So then eventually, if I'm ending up becoming a journalist, and I did math, I may come across a research paper, or I may come across, like every day we do here, the audit reports. I have to have knowledge of math for me to be able to do calculations. And so in your argument, with what everybody else is doing and going through, are you saying it may not necessarily be important? The primary focus should be understanding the pathway of this child from an early age, then project them to just only doing that? Or are these other things also equally important?
Yes, we have in learning what are the dominant and the subordinate learning rubrics. Academics is just one. There are 3 modes of learning in the world today. There's natural learning, which is based on your natural abilities. Then we have experiential learning, based on those who probably drop out and gain big experiences. And finally, we have the traditional, conventional academics, which are still very important. When I talk learning diagnosis, Dennis, what I meant is we've built schools with the resources, colleges with resources, universities with resources.
Yes.
The first question is, who is for what? Who is for what resource? At the moment, it's assumed everyone must pass mathematics as a compulsory subject. Everyone must pass English. Everyone must get this minimum. But I can tell you, just to confirm this to you, that wine taster does not require those. It's just there. So one such probably with natural ability went to Mombasa without even knowing any language, learned Kiswahili and English in the work, built the biggest clearing and forwarding company, is a class 2 dropout 34 years ago. Today, he has the biggest clearing and forwarding company with a branch in New York and Dubai. In fact, public university do take their master's degree students for internship in an organization, and they must sign that they are good enough to graduate. So he thinks, in Kenya also, if you have that money and you're also the chairman of the PTA of the schools, So he thinks he can go to KU and get at least a bachelor's degree because he does all this. What do you think he's going to be told? He's not qualified.
Why?
Because he's a class 2 dropout.
Okay.
Tell me, who is fooling who here? What's the meaning of learning? What's the meaning of education? Now you see the thin line there. The natural learning is completely not being used here, and it's what requires a different approach. And they diluted it to call it competence. There's a problem.
Okay. Maybe I can draw some parallels here because from what I'm hearing you say, there's a model that the Scandinavian countries follow, whereby children in what we call pre-primary in this neck of the woods they're not given work per se. They're allowed to explore and to figure out essentially where their interest lies, and then the learning and the teaching then follows that path. They may be introduced to a class. There could be building blocks here, there could be glue and paint, there could be numbers, there could be anything, and a child will naturally gravitate towards that thing that they're interested in.
Do you want to say that again? Because you're saying it exactly the way I want it to be said.
Okay. So this child naturally gravitates to the area whereby they have an interest and the likelihood that they will nurture a skill in that area. So Kenya and other countries who've adopted this method of education have got it wrong? Is that what you're saying?
They purely picked up the architectural plan without understanding the details. They went to Finland, went to Canada, and copied a system without understanding the history or how it's supposed to be done. If you go to those countries, you go overseas, you need not take any child to any classroom. You will be asked, apart from the grade, who else is this child? That happens, isn't it? And if Muzungu finds a child is good in sport, they spend all their energy there.
Yes.
Hata your tuition teacher kuja ya hiyo. Lakini Mwafrika, Melissa, you see, that's the difference. What you're saying is the truth. Let me put it in a better manner. You're saying the resources are always going to be there, but which resource is best of fit of my child? And therefore, I need to put my child where the right resources are, and things of good value, which now we should call the competences, will emerge. That should have been the way, not the other way around.
So the competencies emerge later, as opposed to saying
it's
that
an outcome.
We're pushing children through these competencies. The competencies are an outcome.
It's an outcome. It cannot be taught. The problem begins there. So it's no wonder the Kenya government is going in a circus. Where do you put JSS? Where do they, how many CBC classrooms? There's nothing called CBC classroom. That's a lie. It's just a classroom. They're chasing the wrong things. There's nothing new there. They didn't even need to change the 844. Everything remains the same. They're just semantics. Even baptizing CBC and CBE, that's just baptism. It doesn't change it.
But Prof, I will disagree with. I will disagree on this principle. Competency can actually be taught.
Tell me how you would.
I'm just thinking. So first, I pick a subject. For example, I'm picking basketball as a sport. So I've never touched a basketball, and I take a basketball. I learn how to dribble the basketball. And so I'm learning how to dribble with one hand. Then at some point, I grow into dribbling with his other left hand. Then I realize wait, my right hand is actually powerful or faster than my left hand. Then I focus on my right hand. So then I begin to dribble around people. And with time, I can now dribble while running or walking before I throw my basketball.
Correct.
Before I make the jump. In that case, with that principle in mind, is it then I have understood the basketball dribbling, then I begin to understand the rules and the principles that then I need to play basketball. I can't, what is it called? I can't do, is it 3 steps?
Layup.
Yes, I can't do that. So I understand then the rules, the regulations, all the principles and everything. Isn't that learning, then I become a competent player if I'm a forward or I'm a guard or whatever it is that I'm doing. Isn't that a learning process I've gone through to be competent, to be able to be a very good basketball player?
Okay, I didn't finish something. I only talked about discovery or assessment. What are the outcomes? The first outcome is called a talent report. A talent report defines what is dominant, what is subordinate in you. So I know this is my biggest strength, because it's very possible that you could also have multiple talents. The people with multiple, they use both sides of the domain. Okay? So and those people who have multiple talents, we call them the gifted. That's the meaning of being gifted. Okay? The people who have multiple talents. When we finish with a report, we write what is called a learning prescription. That learning prescription considers a lot of rubrics that you do have. So some of the things you're saying that I learned left, it could have been indicated from the metric values. We see more strength on the right than the left. Instead of you discovering by yourself along the way, we could have discovered it. Then, for your talent to work, you can also have moribund talent. You can't have a talent just sitting there with it. It has to move. What moves it? Talent enhancement has a lot of things. Okay, one of them is what you're mentioning. It could also be in class, and I am not downplaying the value of classroom, as long as in that class there is what is important to infuse into what will build me bigger. So the prescription is the combination of what would be in class and what is outside class to enhance that. That includes what you're describing at the training. Training is never bad, and I never said it's bad at all. But training for what you'll most likely succeed with is better than training for what I do not know did even ever belong to me.
So, Prof, as we have this discussion now, we look at what has been tried in the Scandinavian countries and has worked there. Kenya went for benchmarking, saw what happened there, and decided this is what we're going to pick. But in the implementation, there's a tape that was cut somewhere. First of all, why did that happen if you have the information, and how do we then fix it? Because we can't continue implementing these system of education if you're getting it wrong.
I started by telling you that in curriculum construction, there are 3 tenets. I only described the one. When our people went to benchmark, they picked without considering the history, the financial ability, the culture, very many things you have to consider before implementing a new system, isn't it? So, this is Kenya. This is not Scandinavian country. In Kenya, we need a system, and we defined why we needed those 3 tenets. You need a system which is simple, so simple that a grandmother taking care of a mujuku in Tana River has the hang of what goes on in school. That's the simplicity that needed. Then the next thing, is it affordable? But more crucial, futuristic. Is it that when I give a 6-year-old child to a school, and this, if you go to Scandinavian countries, the parents do have a right, and you can be taken to court. The Minister for Education of the Republic of Kenya owes me as a parent. I am giving you a 6-year-old child. Do you know, as the minister, where probably my child will end up? If the minister has no such idea, then he has no business sitting there. This is because there they assess the children and be sure, and they have the tools and the methods. The minister is clear in his system what was supposed to happen. So you picked a curriculum from another country and tried to model it through your wrong one. What do you expect? The results are obvious. That's why we're in where we are. So the title of today, there's a reason for it. There has been problems in Kenya about the education sector. It's slowly building into a crisis. Things you see like riots, Dennis. Things you see in the universities, all these upheavals, what are they about? Are they about people just being mad, or things are not working? And why are they not working? Because any human who invests in something and anticipates some result will feel bad if those results are not forthcoming. It's the truth, whether young or not. So the problem there was it was borrowed, fitted in the wrong model, it is not working, it is frustrated, and therefore, after crisis, what are you expecting? Expect a catastrophe.
Today.